In this box is probably and objectively the best Predator on the market today. And I'm going to talk to you in this video about why I think that, even though I prefer the fold-over tongue model. This, of course, is the unboxing and on feet of the Adidas Predator Elite in firm ground. Comes with the standard Adidas box with the 3 stripes across the top, the Adidas football logo here. This box is new for this particular generation of Predator. And then you do have the size guide here, which is the Predator Elite FG. This is my usual size 9 US, no different from last generation, an 8.5 UK, 42 2/3, and a 27 centimeters. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the unboxing of the Goal Hunter pack for 2025. Now, this is a little bit of a disappointment. I'm sure you guys have seen the fold-over tongue review that I did probably a week or two ago. This is a bag that I do really like. I like the design, the colorway, all that stuff is A+ for me. However, I do wish this would have been one of their mesh bags because the Adidas mesh bags are absolutely goated. They're absolutely incredible and I love them. But it's a bag nonetheless. And we got a little bit of, I don't even know. Okay, I always throw these out. I don't know actually what this is. Wear and care instructions. How good is that? You get it with all the different languages. I don't care. Okay, new Predator logoing on the paper, which is a nice touch. It's also double wrapped, if you will. So it's like 2 different layers of Predator paper. And this is a bloody maze. Oh, nice. Okay. Wow. Nice. I love this colorway. Look at that. I actually think this model with the red tongue, with kind of the contrasty tongue, looks exceptional without the fold-over tongue. This has to be one of the best looking Pred colorways. I know I said that in the FT model, but even with the non-FT model, this looks so good. Just, an off-white or a white-based boot with black and accent color is just so epic looking. Yeah, these look awesome. Some updates to the tongue as well. That'll be interesting to talk about. Okay, so there's the other one. There's your right side, and then nothing else on the box there, although I am going to be nice to this paper because I want to film an unboxing short and all that as well. Beautiful. Okay, we'll throw that down here. We'll get this bad boy set up. Bam. All right, here we go. There is the Predator Elite. I'm going to take this little tag off as we talk a little bit about some upgrades that they've made. So as you can see, and you probably already know from watching previous videos of mine on the new Predator, i.e. the FT model, this boot actually hasn't changed all that much from the previous generation. You still have what they call strike skin, you still have what they call hybrid touch, you still get the same control frame 2.0 outsole, and you've got the top end models in 3 different variations. You've got the FT, which is the fold over tongue, of course. You've got the laceless or the LL, and then you've got the regular Elite, and that is this model with the laces and with a normal standard U-throat tongue. When it comes to general performance, and this is where the intro of the video came into play, the general performance of the non-laceless, or we should say laced, non-fold-over tongue version is objectively the best. You don't have the tongue getting in the way ever, even if it doesn't for you sometimes. Inevitably, it gets in the way sometimes. Maybe the little strap on the bottom comes off or it rips. Something happens to the boots where that fold-over tongue is just an extra piece of material that is on the upper or part of the boot that you kind of have to worry about. Whereas this one is flush, locked in, laces, standard U-throat tongue, no BS. This is the most objectively high performing. That being said, am I going to wear this one? Yeah, absolutely. But if I'm in a game, am I going to pick the FT model? Of course. However, if you're not into the FT model or you don't have the same nostalgia around it, I would just get this one because it costs less money and it's objectively better in terms of performance. Now, let's get the Trent Alexander-Arnold Pred off the wall because I want to go over a few technical features that are different. And I realize that this is a fold-over tongue version, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this underneath so that you can see where everything is at from the perspective of down below. And then I'll also lace this up just so you can see kind of the silhouette differences. They're very, very similar as far as shape goes, but I did want to show you guys lace hole placement and a couple other things on the upper in terms of softness and all that stuff. So there you go, side by side, that's what the Predators look like. In my opinion, the previous generation definitely at least looks a little bit wider straight out of the box. That being said, if you feel the upper, so that's what the upper feels like, the Hybrid Touch, first generation of Hybrid Touch on the 24 model or the Predator 30, but this, look at that. This is much more leather-like. It feels very, very good, and it feels a lot more like a material that's gonna stretch and mold to your foot as opposed to stretch, rebound, and then come back to your foot. One thing that I commented on in all my videos about the previous generation was how it felt kind of like a rubber band in terms of how it would, you put your foot in and it would stretch, and then all of a sudden you tie the laces tight and it kind of snapped back into shape and into place. And that is exactly how the testing of this boot has gone for me for all the different colorways that I put through the ringer, including this one. With this generation, it looks like they went with a lot softer upper. It's still Hybrid Touch, it's still synthetic, so you're still gonna get some of the how do I say that? Hydrophobic properties that you got from the previous generation. No, it's not waterproof like Grip Knit, but it does have, it's a synthetic, it's got a little bit of a coating on it, so you're gonna be just fine. Now, the other thing, major piece of the upper that has changed is the grip material. So as you can see, this grip would be the same if it was a non-fold over tongue model as well. But this grip is slightly, well, there's a lot less of it, and it's spread further and further apart. So it still covers about the same area, this kind of front half or front quarter of the instep of your forefoot and midfoot. Same on the new Predator 25 as well. My suggestion would be, if you are looking for the most grip possible, get the previous generation. But if you don't really care and you're willing to sacrifice grip in terms of for a little bit of comfort for the upper, this would be the one that I would go for. I actually aesthetically like the look of this better. I think it looks cleaner, it looks a lot more subtle, a little more minimalistic, and it sort of follows the design language of the inside, lateral, and medial sides of the boot, which is really nice. Kind of this wave texture that sort of flows into the grip, and it's not as aggressive and feels like it pops up off the upper like this one and previous generations of Predator, like the Mutator and Preds like that. From a sole plate perspective, it's the exact same Control Frame 2.0 upper, and I want to reiterate in this video, just like I did in the FT model, the durability issues for the sole plates for the Predator line haven't continued past, I've only heard stories of the first generation, the original launch colorway, which I did several reviews of, but I did all 3 top-end models, reviews, playtests, and then 1-month reviews of. That one had issues, and then I think the next model, which was all black with the orange tongue, which I also did reviews of, those ones I heard a few stories of people with issues. Since that point, not a single story has come out with a cracked sole plate, and the ones that have were either really old and worn out from a season of playing, or it was somebody who had worn them on really nasty dirt or something like that, where it was subject to a lot more stress, put it that way. You won't have any issues with durability. I realize that Adidas had that problem. They've adjusted it. And to be fair, at the bottom line, it could also have been just a mistake from a manufacturing perspective with those first 2 colorways. We're never going to know, but that's the idea. The heel area is also slightly different. If we look at from the top down, I know that it's going to feel a little bit weird or seem a little bit weird. I hope I can capture this on camera with B-roll or something, but there's 2 pads on the inside, one on either side of the Achilles that wrap your Achilles. On this new one, there is a little bit more space between the pads in the back. So there's a little bit more down here in between the 2 pads in comparison to this model. My hope is that this model will actually fit your heel a lot better because the pads won't be pushing your Achilles forward off of the back of the boot. My hope is that this little separation allows for your Achilles to sit flush to the back of the heel area, which will in turn reduce slippage, help with lockdown, all the good things that you want from a high performance boot like this, especially at the price point. This colorway is beautiful. It looks absolutely fantastic. The other thing that they've also changed, really quick before I go into the on feet portion, is this tongue. And it's just a little bit of an exposed mesh here for where the lace loop goes through the tongue. Other than that, it's a very, very similar suede on the underside with this synthetic. It's probably a really super thin hybrid touch material for the tongue, but it looks like it actually goes down quite a ways. So there's these big wing tips that kind of sit on either side that go all the way down to there and all the way down to there on the tongue. And I'll show you guys that in the on feet portion of the video, but very, very excited about this pair of football boots. They look incredible and I'm really excited to try these on because I think with the updated upper, some of the new grip elements, I think performance-wise, this is gonna be an absolute weapon for those of you who are interested in the best objective Predator on the market. Let's hop into the on feet portion of the video. All right, fam, out here in the backyard with the laced Predator Elite, the normal edition, no tongue, no laceless construction. These are, I think, gonna be pretty freaking awesome. So let's hop into the on feet portion. I think they look amazing. I love the fact that they kept the red tongue, although I will say, I think I like the black laces on the Elite FT model better than this kind of off-white lacing that matches the upper, just because it adds a little bit more contrast to the boots. That being said, they do look really clean. So here we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, wow. Okay, so the reason I'm not reacting super crazy, and oh my days, these do get a very high oh my days rating, but because I have tried on the FT model already, these fit pretty much identically straight out of the box, other than probably the way that it locks in once the laces are tied, because this comes a lot higher than the FT model, but straight away you get the just exceptional upper experience that is this new hybrid touch material. There you go. There's what the boots look like. That crazy tongue that has basically wings on either side of it to make sure that it doesn't, if it slips side to side, then you don't get a super, there's no kind of issues with a separation between the tongue and, or space between the tongue and the upper, which is kind of nice. So if you can see it on this one, there you go. So it's got like a really big wing on either side that sort of keeps the tongue in place. And we'll go on this one as well. But yeah, I mean, this boot just fits me fantastically well, and I think it's going to fit most people really, really well. I find that the Predator Elite in general, with this new shape, new generation, and the hybrid touch is just fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And I think that I stand by the fact that this is definitely the highest kind of objective performing model. This is a 9US, fits me absolutely perfectly. As you can see, I can wiggle my toes no problem. Has the perfect amount of volume, at least for my feet here in the toe box area. So not super thin like the F50s, or narrow, I guess, or pointed down, really low volume, but maybe not as much as the Copa Pure. So it's kind of that perfect middle ground. And then the heel area, like I was talking about in the unboxing, does really feel like my heel is further back in the boot. And that's thanks to the heel padding. I'll turn around a little bit. The heel padding back here, the two on either side are a little bit more separate so that your Achilles can kind of fit further back. And it's a very small change, but similar to the FT model, I feel like my feet are a lot more kind of stuck into the back of the boot. There's a full look at the boots on feet. I think they look incredible. Yes, I like the aesthetic of the FT model. That's no surprise probably to most of you. However, I would wear these in a heartbeat just as much because, I mean, they're amazing and they feel absolutely incredible. Now, from a lockdown perspective, you're gonna get the same lockdown, maybe like 2% or 1% less in the FT model, just because the tongue sort of presses the laces. The tongue presses, you fold over the tongue presses the laces kind of further forward. And so you've got this area there where there isn't a lace kind of holding the crease of your ankle and your foot. But again, we're talking about the smallest margins. Last year, I actually only, the pair of boots that didn't have the tongue I wore in a couple training games, but the ones with the tongue I wore in some official matches with 1-0, and realistically, I couldn't really tell the difference. The reason I went for the FT model was because I like the aesthetic better, and especially with a full kit, I think it just, that's my own personal preference. That being said, these are amazing football boots. They're so comfortable straight out of the box. This new hybrid touch, as you can see, I'll wiggle both toes. Super nice. Look how soft that is. And that's a synthetic that isn't super soft, I would say, either. It's not, or excuse me, it's not super thin either. It's got a decent amount of kind of ping to it as well. Touch on the ball, I'm going to expect to be, yep, identical pretty much to the FT model, although there's a little bit more feeling on the top of the boots, particularly because there obviously isn't that extra layer of material with the tongue. But this touch on the ball, this hybrid touch, I dare say I like this hybrid touch on this new generation of Predator better than the messy F50s. I know that's a little controversial, but I just think this new hybrid touch is so, so good. Part of that could just be because the Messies don't fit my foot shape as well as the Preds do. The Preds fit my foot basically perfectly out of the box. And so there's not really, like, I don't have any issues with break-in time other than maybe a little bit right here. So I'm sure I'll have a little bit of pinching right there. But realistically, it's going to take me maybe 2 to 3 hours of proper wear time. And then these will be like slippers on my feet, which is going to be so, so awesome. So do I like these better than the Messi F50? From a shape perspective, it's not a question. I'm picking Predators all day. And in fact, that's actually why I wore Predators way more than I did the F50s in terms of actual game minutes and training minutes. And then on my own, obviously, I test equal amounts for everything. But I would pick a Predator over an F50 from the F50 Messies any day of the week. And part of that is the pinginess that I like, that I get from this upper, the grip element that's on the inside, because this grip element is absolutely fantastic. The strike skin on the previous generation, obviously I'm talking about because I haven't actually tested these ones yet, but the strike skin on the previous generation was really nice. It gave a really good amount of kind of that whip. So every time, you know, you're going up to the ball and you're about to bend it into the box as a cross or trying to hit a crossfield ball or a curved pass or whatever, it just gives you that little bit of extra something. And this new generation, I imagine, is going to be probably 98% as good at that particular thing, but it's going to be 105% better in comfort and performance because of some of those minor changes they made with the heel padding and the softness of the upper and the general, oh God, look at the softness of that. And that's, I've never worn these before. I haven't even put them on feet yet. This is the first time, and we're, what, 5 or 10 minutes into this section of the video? Like, they're so soft already, and I'm really impressed. I honestly might not even need break-in time for these. So these are absolutely gonna make my training rotation, game rotation, everything. Like, this is a football boot. The FT is a football boot. Laceless, not so sure yet, but these two laced Predator Elites, excellent. I would highly recommend them for pretty much any foot shape. Now, if you want a hybrid touch boot, but you are on the narrower side, you know, you're not sort of in the middle or a wider foot like myself, you're on the narrow side, go with the Messi F50, because I think those are going to be just fine for you, and they're going to be probably better suited to the shape of your foot. But if you're like me and you have a little bit of a wider shape foot, I would highly recommend going true to size, to your US sizing, and then going for the Predator, because it is such a good football boot. And this new generation, they sort of Mizuno-fied their development process, and I'm hoping the next generation is the same in terms of minor details, minor, similar overall shape, maybe a different colorway, pattern, design like they did with this one. Obviously, this one has this new kind of wave patterning on the lateral and the medial side with a little bit of a different shaping to the way the stripes look, and some of the heel details are a little bit different as well. Do a different paint job, some new colorways, freshen it up a little bit, but man, the Mizuno-ification of small detail, make an incredibly overall better product. It's pretty remarkable how different these feel straight out of the box than the previous generation, despite looking pretty much feeling almost identical. So Adidas, fantastic job. Very, very, very impressed with this football boot, and I'm really excited for the general consumer to get their hands on these, because I think these are gonna absolutely crush on the market. And in terms of the competition, obviously got some pretty stiff competition with boots like the Tequila and the GX2, and of course the SKX as well. And all of those boots are gonna have to kind of live up now to the prestige that is this new generation Predator. That's gonna be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you go down to this video here, which will be the FT model review, just to juxtapose the two back to back if you guys are figuring out which one is best for you. I will see if I can find some links for the boots down in the description box below. And of course you have discount codes for the WeFoot grip socks and my favorite footballs on the market, the Miter footballs, down in the description box as well. As always, be awesome, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.